Since General Motors sold its Vauxhall and Opel brands, it has a hole where some of those Buick badged models used to fill in the United States. For example, the Regal is no longer in the lineup. So they've had to come up with new models like this, the Encore GX, which is new for the 2020 model year. Now, you may be confused, this is not actually a replacement for the old Encore. They still sell that as their entry-level model. This sits between the regular Encore and the larger Envision in their lineup, and we're gonna go ahead and check it out. Let's go see what the Encore GX is all about. From the exterior, you'll be able to tell that the Encore GX is completely different from the regular Encore, which is based on the Trax. This is, of course, based on the Trailblazer. We don't have the ST appearance package, which adds kind of like these red accents here on the front grille. It's only like an $800 option, so I think if you're gonna get one of these, the ST package is definitely the way to go. I think you get a little nicer wheels as well. We have these 18s that they just look a little bit small to me, and I'm not a huge fan of this plastic fender look, but I do think the overall design here is a lot more cohesive and nice and more premium looking than the regular Encore, which really just looks like a Trax with a Buick badge on it. And that just screams rental car to me. This is a little bit more premium. For example, I really like the big red taillight we have here with the little amber unit here. It's just a lot more smooth looking than what you get on the regular Encore. And overall, I think that this is just a much prettier looking vehicle. All right, so now that we've checked out the cute little exterior of the Encore GX, let's see if Buick has nailed the luxury aspect of this vehicle here on the interior. We've got the top Essence trim, so most of the luxury features are found here, although you do still have to add some options here. We have the optional technology package and convenience packages, adding a lot of the features that you're about to see here. The materials are good. We have some nice soft touch here on the upper dashes. I actually kind of like this this trim here that we have on this trim level. I do also really like the beige and black two-tone contrast here. The leather quality is fine. I think the steering wheel is actually really nice leather quality. The seats are fine. There are some hard plastics. This does feel a little bit more like a near luxury vehicle than a full luxury vehicle, although that being said, a lot of the other vehicles in this class, you know, we're talking the Q3s, the X1s, stuff like that, those don't feel that luxurious either, so I'm willing to give Buick a little bit of a pass on the fact that this doesn't feel that much nicer than the Chevy Trailblazer on which it's based, but then again, it doesn't cost all that much more when you look at the two together. So the gauges, they're pretty basic, they're quite small, just like the rest of the car. You get a little helper screen here in the middle with speedometer and stuff like that. Nothing too special to report there, but I love General Motors' infotainment system here. Look at how high resolution this screen here is. All of the graphics look fantastic. Even better when you toss the car into reverse. Look at the definition of this 360-degree camera. It's got the moving trajectory lines. That means parking this car is going to be amazingly easy. Forgive where I'm parked right now, it's just for filming purposes, but we also have amazing angles. I can zoom in, I can get a really zoomed in top-down look at the vehicle. I can get side views showing my tires, so you're never gonna curb a wheel while parallel parking. This camera system is absolutely excellent. You do also get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay plus Amazon Alexa built into this car, so that's good as well. Now, the one thing that I will note, some insider news here, this vehicle does not have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but if you wait and hold off until the 2021 model year, you will be able to get those things. The 2021 Trailblazer, which went into production a little after this in the same factory in South Korea, does have those features available right now. We also have, as part of a package, this little head-up display. Now, it's not one that projects right on the glass. You get this little glass thing that pops up out of the dash, kind of like Mazda used to do this on the Mazda 3. So you might complain that it looks a little tacky compared to just having it on the glass, but what I will say about it is I am wearing polarized sunglasses right now, and we are in pretty broad daylight, and I can see it clear as day. A lot of the systems that project onto the windshield, they disappear fully when you put on polarized sunglasses. So this is actually a really good head-up display. And the other thing that's probably good about this is if you've ever had a crack in your glass when you have a windshield with a head-up display, you'll know that it is very expensive to replace. So if you do get a crack in this glass, I think you're going to be better off and not have to pay as much. Now, in terms of storage space, this is a small vehicle for sure. But General Motors has done an excellent job designing the center console here. We've got storage here that also doubles as a wireless charger. We've got our 2 cup holders and then this very large storage area down here, plus a center armrest with like this removable cubby. It's quite small, but it actually does go quite deep. And now the last thing that I wanted to mention is the rear camera view mirror. This comes in a couple of other GM vehicles as well, but I think it's a very cool feature. You can have it be a normal rear view mirror, or if you have people in the back or objects blocking your view, you can pull this tab. Now it becomes a camera, gives you a great view out of the rear of the vehicle. I love this feature and I think it's pretty cool. Now let's see how the Encore GX does in the backseat. This is not a massive vehicle by any stretch. I have about 36 inches of legroom. I wouldn't want to spend like too much time back here. We do have a USB and a USB-C as well as a 110 outlet. That's pretty good. And there's no rear air vents back here, but I do feel some air coming around my ankles from underneath the seat. So that's an interesting touch to make it feel a little bit more luxurious. Now let's go ahead and check out the trunk space. Trunk space is obviously important with any crossover, and we've actually got one of these hands-free lift gates. There's usually a little Buick emblem that projects here on the ground to let you know where to kick, but I'm gonna give it a try. I always like to give automakers one chance. If it doesn't work on camera, then it's not gonna work for you. Ah, look at that, we got it to work. So there we go, Buick gets a pass on that one. We've got a 25 cubic foot trunk back here, which is, as you see, is just enough for all of our camera gear, plus a little more. This floor does raise and lower, but only just a little bit, scooch to give you a little bit more space. And if you fold down those second row seats, you're gonna double your cargo space to about 50 cubic feet of storage. And when you're ready to close it, let it close by itself. All right, so if you option it on your Encore GX, this vehicle can park itself. So we're gonna go ahead and try that up here on a parallel spot. So all I have to do is push this little parking button and it's gonna scan. I can tell it whether or not I'm doing parallel or perpendicular parking. I'm telling it to scan to the right because that's where the parking spaces are. It should detect this one, there we go, it has. So I have to stop and put it into reverse, keep my hands off the wheel. I have to tap the gas just a little bit to get it moving, and now I'm just riding the brakes with my foot, but as you can see, completely hands off. It is doing everything itself. We've got our amazing 360-degree camera showing us where we are, so I don't have to worry about hitting a curb. I have not touched the steering wheel. As you can see, this little arrow is telling me how far I am. Stop. Now it says drive forward and be prepared to brake. Like with the reverse, I have to tap the gas a little bit just to get it moving. Now the one thing is, it seems to be a little optimistic about how forward you need to go. So not a perfect park job, but I would have to back it up just a little bit, but amazing. I didn't have to touch the wheel at all. That is a great system. And unlike a lot of others I've tested, this one will detect the spot even if you don't have a car, a parking spot, and a car. So bravo, Buick, this system worked great. All right, so it is time to get the Encore GX out on the road to see how it drives. It's an overall winner in terms of technology and interior, but let's see if Buick can finally do luxury in the subcompact segment. And let's start off by talking about the engines. There are only 2 engine options here, both of them little tiny 3 cylinders. So the base engine is a 1.2 liter. Yeah, that's very, very tiny. That might be one of, if not the smallest engine. I guess the Ford EcoSport, you can get that with a 1 liter engine. And that 1.2 produces just 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. And you can link that to either front or all-wheel drive going to a CVT transmission. Now we have the optional engine, the big boy, the powerhouse, a 1.3 1.3 liter. I hope you realize I'm joking about the big boy statement. And it doesn't produce that much more power. It's 155 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque. Now this engine can be mated to either a CVT or a 9-speed automatic if you get all-wheel drive. We only have front-wheel drive, which means we have the CVT in here. So we'll see how that does when we push the pedal just a little bit. And it's interesting to note that this 1.3 liter engine is only a $395 upgrade. So I don't know why you wouldn't get it. Like, it's gonna help your resale value, and I couldn't imagine having any less power in this car, so trust me, you're gonna wanna get the larger engine here. So I'm gonna come to a stop real quick, or a near stop, and Buick hasn't given me a 0 to 60 time officially on this car, so I thought, well, let's see what it'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up, and I didn't reach 60 yet, but I'm about to go into a corner, so it's definitely over 10 seconds in my testing. I thought because it was so slow, I could maybe count it just in my head, and yeah, I definitely could. This is not a quick vehicle by any stretch of the imagination. It is very slow. You're not going to go anywhere in a hurry in this car, but then again, the torque is actually pretty good, and the CVT does drop down its ratios pretty quickly. So again, not a powerhouse, but it doesn't feel like the slowest vehicle on earth. If you want something faster, you're gonna have to spend a lot more money. Any of the other, quote, luxury competitors in this segment are gonna be a lot more money. You're looking at an Audi Q3, BMW X1, all of those are way more powerful, but you're gonna spend at least $10,000 more on them to get them anywhere nearly as equipped as this. And this car is pretty frugal. These little crossovers, because of the aerodynamics, are never quite as efficient as, say, like a compact sedan. Like, I just drove a Nissan Sentra that I believe could do like 40 miles per gallon on the highway. This isn't quite that good, but it's decent for the segment. You're gonna average 30 mpg in the city, 32 on the highway, and 31 combined. From what I'm seeing on the trip computer here, those numbers seem pretty spot on, and the numbers will drop just a little bit if you get all-wheel drive, which is a $2,000 optional extra, and you can get that on pretty much any Encore GX trim level. In terms of comfort, it's pretty good. This is a very tiny car, but Buick has done a good job making it ride pretty well. It's definitely not like full luxury levels. I would say it's more near luxury. It's not as comfortable as an Audi Q3, but I do think it is at least on par, or maybe even more comfortable than something like a BMW X1. The steering is very light, making it very easy to maneuver around a city, and you've already seen the 360-degree cameras, and it can park itself. I think that this is just an excellent little city vehicle. I still prefer hatchbacks and sedans, but if you really do want that extra ride height and you want a little bit more of a premium feel, I think the Encore is a really good option. Now, I don't know if it stands out enough over the Trailblazer on which it's based, but overall, I think it is a very nice driving experience. So that was the 2020 Buick Encore GX. Now, there are some things that I really like about it, speed not being one of them, but I think it's a very cute looking vehicle. I think it has amazing technology inside, and it rides pretty comfortably as well. And I do really like the price point. You can get an Encore GX starting at about $25,000. This one, as you see it equipped with front wheel drive in the Essence trim level, is just over $34,000, making it about $10,000 or $11,000 less than the last Audi Q3 I tested. So with that being said, I think that Buick has done a very admirable job here, and I think this would be a great vehicle for a younger buyer living in a small city who wants something small, nimble, and agile, and doesn't care about speed. We hope you've enjoyed this review of the 2020 Buick Encore GX. For more videos like it, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be alerted of all of our latest videos. Also, if you want more information on the Encore GX, be sure to click the link in the description for more information over at CarBuzz.com. We'll see you next time.